Alright, folks, hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host, Josh, and this is part 8 of our B-Sides Let's Play of the Letter. When we last left off, we finished things off with Mr. Zachary. We decided not to go in the mansion this time, and then finally got a call through with Ash. And Ash told us to meet at Isabella's, which was interesting. We don't quite know what the deal with that is, because we switched over to Marianne. In which we had to have some unfortunate relations with Mr. Luke Wright, and then got spooked out in a closet or something. Anyways, excuse me, we are about to start the breakfast that we just had. There's no denying the clients when they there's no denying these two hotties when they invite me over to the table. And we've seen these pancakes before, so we'll skip ahead. We get a look at the map. Last time... What did we say last time? I remember this is Luke making unrealistic demands on what is going on here. Last time we said, yes, that sounds fair. I think to Hannah saying that that was not okay. But this time, hey, we can compromise, you know? Come on now. I really wish they didn't look at me like that. This is their decision to make. And I bet, yep, Hannah doesn't like it. Luke does. Great. Okay. But if they want to ask for a professional's point of view, I'll be happy to give my 2 cents.
You can still have a garage.
See, Marianne agrees with me. Thank you.
But the structural integrity of the mansion might be at risk if we try to turn the dining hall or any of the rooms into a garage. Taking down one of the exterior walls might hit one of the support beams, and with a mansion that old, I'd rather not risk it, especially without closer inspection. There's always compromise, of course.
Yeah, it'd be a real shame if something happened to this mansion, like somebody were to burn it down or something.
I suppose that's better than nothing. Better than flat out saying no.
Mrs. Wright does
Hannah.
have a point. There's plenty of space for a garage outside of the mansion itself. If you'd like a covered parking space, we can arrange something on the grounds instead.
Then we better go there. I want to see where we can build a garage.
Yes, no time like the present. You want a thorough inspection? Might as well do it now. We actually took another look at the property yesterday, though it was brief. But I'm sure you would want to see it yourself, to spot anything we might have missed.
It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Alright, so we head over to the mansion. Luke treats his servant poorly. And then we get the choice here, basically, of who we want to spend our time with, right? Last time we chose to go to the place that Hannah was supposed to be at, which was the first floor? Yes. And that's where we ended up seeing the mirror and had all that stuff, so I'm curious to see how this is going to change things. This time we're going to check out the ground floor. Here we go. Alright, just because there's one troublesome client shouldn't mean I'll let him get in the way of my work. The parlor is my first destination. Mostly because I figure Mr. Wright is hiding down in the wine cellar and making plans there. I'm gonna bump into him sooner or later, but I'd rather make it later. Much, much later. The place, upon closer inspection, is in good shape. I don't doubt this place was done with the most care, considering it would be one of the first rooms visitors would see during the open house. There's a stain on the carpet, most likely by one of the guests at the time, but it isn't anything a good cleaning can't get rid of. Next is the music room. Or at least, that's the plan.
Locked? Oh, come on now.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever been in the music room. I rattled the doorknob again, harder this time, to double check, and even give it a good budge to see if there isn't a problem with the door itself. But no, definitely locked. That's weird, considering the rest of the rooms aren't. It could just be this one, though, and I can try the other door through the ballroom if I really want to get in. And that's when I hear it. The sound of the most scary instrument in the entire world. A piano. No, it just plays one note over and over again. Get some new material. It makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand, and I back away from the door. Though I wasn't exactly the superstitious sort. What am I gonna do? The room is locked. I can just go back to it later. Maybe see if I can go through the ballroom and... The music room door opens, and who else but Luke Wright stands by the doorway. Not very musical, are we, my friend? He looks a lot like a cat that ate a canary, and I didn't appreciate the way his eyes linger on me.
Isn't it common sense that locked doors mean someone wants a bit of privacy? You didn't try to break the door down. Or did you just want to see me again that badly without the misses?
Oh, kick him in the
I'm
balls.
still up for a shag if that's what you're after.
Kick him in the balls.
Cellar is soundproof if you fancy a snog and a poke.
I'm here on business, Mr. Wright. Nothing more, nothing less.
Certainly no snog and poke.
Now, if you can let me pass, I need to inspect the music room as well.
I'm not looking for trouble, but trouble always seems to find me anyway. He leans against the doorframe, crosses his arms, and plasters a huge grin on his face. The way he looked at me promises nothing good. But really, how big of a scumbag can one person be?
Oh, sure, you're some fancy interior designer. But mix in some booze and you really loosen up, don't you? Working woman by day, working girl
God.
by night.
Kill him!
I'm not. I'm no such thing. Don't you fucking dare continue down that line of thought.
Kill Luke
I'm not
Wright.
what you suggest I am. I am not some whore you can just leer at and proposition. If anybody here is morally reprehensible, it's you cheating on your wife. And if you don't stop this harassment, I'll...
Tell the wife? Good luck with that.
You're terribly confident for a lecherous cheat.
It's true.
Do you honestly think you're the first woman that threatens to go running to her claiming something or another about me?
Just wait till the party a couple days from now.
You think you're some special snowflake and that you're the first woman that I've slept with?
My hands shake. I have to remind myself that I would get nothing out of hitting him. Oh, I don't know. We'd get something. Nothing but satisfaction, at least. There you
Tell
go.
her. But who will she believe? Her darling husband? Or the hired help?
I mean, if enough people claim this, surely she would have to believe it at some point.
Oh, Buttercup, she's probably trying to make us pay up or she'll create a scandal. Stay quiet, you can go on with your life with no trouble.
And if I talk? Even if your wife doesn't believe me, I can get people talking. What then?
Oh, people gossip all the time, it's hardly anything new. But still, if you talk, I will ruin you.
The way he says it, promises it, makes my blood run cold.
Now, why don't you run along and do whatever silly job you have to do? I'll just be here in the music room if you change your mind about a shag.
Fucking asshole.
Scum of the earth he is. How could you just let him talk to you like that?
Yeah, Marianne. Kick him in the balls. Okay, so forget about going to the music room then. That's fine, he'll have to go out there sooner or later. In the meantime, I can go around and check the rest of the house. All my worries fade when I step into the ballroom. And, well, the whole place is just grand, isn't it? I can see why the Wrights made sure nobody else would take this place from them. Anyone who has it will certainly be the belle of the ball. It's pretty much one great big status symbol. I don't think I can do much of a thorough inspection in this room, so I note it down for later. Moving on to the kitchens, I check the ventilation and the general fire safety in the kitchen. This bit is important for a place this size. I would, of course, suggest bringing an actual fire safety inspector over for a more detailed inspection. Wouldn't do to see such beautiful architecture go up in flames, after all. I take measurements of the countertops and cabinets, note down what type of wood they use. They wanted some of these recreated to hide modern appliances. There's a loose floorboard in the farthest corner, and some of the others had scratches, but everything else seems to be in decent shape. Are there any secret necklaces under the loose floorboard, Marianne? My concentration is broken when someone knocks.
You can come in. Door's not locked.
It's just me, the ghoul. I wait, expecting Mrs. Wright or their butler to come in, but nobody entered. Instead, there's that knocking again. It's louder and more urgent this time, and I'm pretty sure I didn't lock the thing.
All right. I'm coming. Just hold on.
When I move to open the door, though, I realize something. The knocking isn't coming from the door, but from somewhere else. I wonder where it could be. Viewer, do you see on your screen where the knocking might be coming from? Go ahead and point if you see where the knocking might be coming from. Good job, it's the wine cellar. The trap door? I pause for a second, waiting. But the knocking has not ceased. And soon enough, it becomes desperate. The dull thuds from before switching to what seems to be scratching? Desperate and insistent at once, as if grasping for respite.
Somebody stuck down there. Dick!
Whoa, cat? Where did that come from? How did it even get down there? That put the heart crossway in me, it did. I love cats, but they have no business giving people a fright. Well, then you don't truly love cats, Marianne. For a second there, all those ghastly rumors about this place had come flooding back. Now, peering into the darkness of the open trapdoor gets me thinking. And it gets me curious. Seriously, though, I should really make sure there aren't any more surprises from down under. You always want to check Australia for any hidden surprises. I don't think the Wrights would appreciate if we find a litter of kittens making a house in the wine cellar. Mr. Wright seemed the type to skin a cat if any of his precious wines were to be contaminated. I'm done with the kitchens anyway. Oh no. Going down a flight of stairs while wearing high heels is always a bad idea. Descending into the dark underground only made it worse, but I managed anyhow without any major slip-ups.
These stairs need work, that's for sure.
Surprisingly, the wine cellar is in good condition. No damaged water from last year's flooding, and apart from the dust and cobwebs that have accumulated, the place will likely hold for several more years. Racks and barrels line the walls, making the spacious room look smaller than it is. We never did find out when we went here last time, at the end of Marianne's chapter. We found a broken wine bottle there. And I always thought that was going to be something that was going to come up in, like, Luke's chapter later or something. We'd find out the reason for that. I wonder if we'll find out something here now. I'm no expert, but it looks good enough for immediate use without any further additions. Bloody whiskey will be having a field day. I think so anyway, until I feel something crunch beneath my feet. Okay, well, speak of the devil. Yes, this is the same. Whatever few bottles were left behind here are now nothing but glass under my heels. The cat's fault, I'd wager. Maybe. I made a downright mess, with red slick pooling from the remnants of a good drink. There's a lot of the stuff for to have just been a few bottles, though. A whole trail of it flows from the end of the room, and I follow, fully expecting a leaking barrel or a whole upturned rack. Instead, it just keeps on going, and it stops in a large puddle at the very back wall.
What a waste of wine. Why is it so sticky, though? Ugh.
Because it's blood, Marianne. It's thick, too. Nothing like wine. Of course, it could just be mold.
Maybe it's not wine. Go on, touch it. I dare ya.
Shut up, Lorraine. You're not real. Despite it all, I find myself answering, because it's her voice. Amy Lorraine. Lovely Amy. Pretty Amy. I can imagine her standing there with me, laughing and pestering me as I did my work in the way only friends can. She was my friend, the only one that I had at St. Samthon's. I was a scholar, the charity case, in a school for privileged and prestigious young girls. They all look down at me, if they care to look at me or acknowledge my presence at all. All except her. Sometimes I wish for the good old days, when we were friends. Now she's nothing but a ghost, though I try so hard to get over her. I really, really do.
What am I, 5 years old? Oh, damn it, it's stuck under my shoe.
I double dare you. Hell, I double dog dare you. Don't be such a scaredy cat. It's probably wine.
I mean, we were double dog dared. I don't really see any way we can back out of this now.
What else could it be? Blood?
That is what I guessed.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would there be blood down here?
If I was the joking sort, I would have said it might be the reason why the previous owners sold the place. Maybe the ghost stories are actually true, and they wanted to get away from the walls that dripped of ectoplasmic goo and whatever other ghouls haunted about. Doubt it. I hardly believe in any of that voodoo nonsense as it is. But as I stare at the mess at my feet, probably looking like a fool while I'm at it, I notice something strange. It isn't visible, unless one is really paying attention, but I can see the red gunk seeping through a crack in the wall.
What's this, then?
I worry about structural damage and damage to the foundation. I worry about the wine cellar, as the wrong conditions can lend to the deterioration of its contents if temperatures and humidity are not controlled. Up until I see how clean-cut the crack is, excuse me. It runs along the it runs along the edge of the wall and vertically along it, where a door would be. Pressing my hand against the wall lends credence to the idea as I try to feel where it would give way.
Ooh, could it be an adventure then? A secret passage. There must be a hidden switch somewhere. Go look. This is the most interesting thing you've done by far.
I've been terribly bored this whole chapter so far. Sex with Luke Wright? I'm out. If there's a hidden room here, that could certainly explain the discrepancy in the mansion's floor plans. Wouldn't be too far-fetched to think there could be some hidden rooms and passageways all over the house, if we're to follow that logic. And boy, isn't that exciting? This feels like something straight out of a game. Suddenly, she touches my arm and I flinch away in shock. That shouldn't be possible. I understand auditory hallucinations, maybe even visual hallucinations, but that was...
You look surprised. What's wrong?
You? That's not possible. You're...
dead.
Aren't you happy to see a dear old friend, though? I'm hurt, I am.
What the hell is going on here?
It's interesting if we're not gonna get the whole, like, story of the past in this route.
Oh, isn't it obvious? I come back for you, so that we can be together again.
When she touches me once more, I recoil. What does she mean, together again? She's dead.
No! Leave me alone!
Leave you alone? But I just got here.
Turning around, I met with the Wright's butler, who looks at me with an indifferent look. When I look back, Lorraine is gone.
I wasn't talking to you, just thinking aloud is all.
Going crazy, I see. Okay.
You should really avoid talking to yourself, Kint. Do more of that and others will think you're insane.
Yes, thank you. Is that all you're here for, or has your master sent you running down here for something?
Oh, no, I am just down here to admire the place. I've not been inside before. I thought I would look around before we return to the city. The car is already running, you see, and I suggest you go back to the foyer, unless you wish to be left behind. It seems you are in good company already, after all, with this house and your imaginary friend.
Well, let's not be rude, Johannes.
Wait, we're leaving already? But I haven't finished inspecting the rest of the house.
Too bad.
Be that as it may, there's a sulking man-child up there who wishes to go home. We are all subject to his whims, lest he throw a tantrum.
I can't help but smile at that. He's a strange guy. I still can't imagine how he can work for a guy like Luke Wright, though. I imagine the blonde arse ain't an easy guy to get along with. Whatever the butler was having to tolerate that, I want 10 of it.
And we wouldn't want any soiled knickers or spilled milk. Why don't you go head on and I'll be right there.
Very well. Do be careful on your way back. I saw some broken glass on the way and it would not do to cut yourself on them.
I will, yeah. Just tell Mr. Wright not to blow a gasket or anything. I'll be just a minute.
Speaking of blowing gaskets, there's something else dangerous here. Whatever's behind that door, it could pose some problems. Best case scenario, it'd only ruin good stocks of wine, but who knows what's behind that false wall. I'll have to come back to it. Alright, so I believe, whoopsies, I believe now we've, yep, gotten back to here. Curious thing in the wine cellar, which is stuff I'd only read about from fucking horror stories, and her. I should feel the slightest bit hesitant. I was lucky. I've seen enough films to know what happens when a promiscuous woman enters a haunted house. Definitely seen that. Alright, we get back home. On to Wednesday. And, yep, we see these two little twins. Cat wakes us up. We go back to the mansion. Ah, okay. Interesting. So this time we didn't see the mirror in the house itself, but we did see it in our dream. Miss Red only shakes her head and laughs at her husband's antics as they take the mirror out of here. He's back at it again soon enough, pointing man here and there. Nope. I'd say he's the man with the plan, but sort of interferes with the layout and design that we've agreed upon before. I'm about to point it out, but...
It's better you let him realize his mistakes on his own, rather than tell him of them. That way you do not get blamed for his actions. It is more fun, too, to tell him, how do they say it? I told you so, once he slips up.
I mean, I do know a bit more about this whole relationship now from Luke's chapter, but it's still a very weird relationship.
Been working with him long enough to know that, huh?
It's not like I plan to make too much of a fuss, unless what he changes is actually crucial.
It happens often enough, when one is made to accompany him nearly all hours of the day.
Up, higher, come on now.
Still, he could at least be less pushy about things.
Careful now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African Blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings. Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
It is surprising how hands-on he is compared to my usual clientele. Well, the both of them are, actually. It's refreshing to have them participate, despite their initial reluctance.
Luke,
Do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup. Careful, that's Emma. No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle
Yeah.
a Napoleon Abueva.
I definitely remember all this, but Johannes definitely wasn't with us last time. At least I don't remember that. He really needs to tone down the dramatics a notch. Miss Wright and the butler look like they're used to it by now. But the rest of us, well...
Sweetie,
No? Okay.
why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs? Let Johannes and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
There is an obvious sense of relief as Mr. Wright is dragged out of the room, leaving the movers to do their work in peace. Some grumbling even comes from some of the younger workers. It's a good thing the family butler isn't some blindly loyal tool to his boss. There'll be trouble with Mr. Wright.
He is such a bratwurst. Whiny baby who never got enough hugs from his mutter.
I think the father was really more the issue.
Probably lost in translation, and not that I'm condoning talking about someone else behind their back, but I think you meant to call Mr. Wright a horrible brat.
Well, he is that too. There are a lot of things I can call him, but I mean to say that he is a big weenie.
On this, we are completely agreed, Johannes.
Childish name for a childish person. Like a child, he whines when he doesn't get what he wants, and he breaks the toys that he has.
That gets a laugh from me, as well as a few of the movers who linger near. He and I carry boxes, instructing the movers where they should be and generally taking over Mr. Wright's work. It goes off without a hitch, and the man is helpful, efficient, and capable of physical labor, despite his clean-cut appearance. A gentleman to boot, taking boxes from me when he sees me struggling with them. Yeah, let's start a relationship with Johannes this time. I mean, he's kind of an assassin, but, like, come on, let's go. Speaking of boxes...
Hey, one of the boxes for the kitchen is missing. Has anyone seen it? The one with the pots and the knives.
The bratwurst had it brought upstairs, thinking it was for the attic.
Why would he... Oh, never mind. I'll go get it.
Don't like that. Don't like that. Why even bring a box of pots and knives to the attic? That man is ridiculous. There's probably no point in making sense of what he does if he does them just because he can. At least it turns out that in order not to make it all the way up to the attic, the mover, probably on Mr. Wright's orders, left the box on the stairs.
At least it's not that heavy.
I managed to hoist it up without too much effort, but the time it takes for me to do that is long enough for me to overhear an odd conversation I could never in my life imagine coming from a couple like the Wrights.
Well, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home. And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture. Besides, you don't even like cats.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
Infinitely superior. Can't believe that.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess. I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
For once, I'll have to agree with Whiskey on this one, though I can live with Mrs. Wright being a dog person. But as amusing as this conversation might get, I really shouldn't be caught eavesdropping or slacking off at the job. At most, I should be looking at ways of possibly soundproofing certain rooms, perhaps bringing it up if they don't realize the lack of it. I really should... I'm trying to remember where this conversation goes. We just did it in Hannah's chapter, but I don't remember what the end of it is. I think they talk about baby stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's in Marianne's character to certainly move on. I don't think we're really going to get anything that interesting based off of staying, and we might get in trouble. So, let's move on. Yep, figured. Okay. No matter how bizarre that conversation might get, I really must go. Not to mention, just standing here when I have no more reason to loiter just feels wrong. Besides, the magic word here is privacy, and I respect that. Keep it in mind, and I won't have a guilty conscience filled to the brim with the secrets of the rich and famous in my hands. I'd take the stairs 2 steps at a time if I wasn't in danger of getting stabbed by my baggage, and if nobody else was in the foyer. But as Johannes takes the box from me, I only give him a small smile. There's no reason to gossip about the peculiar conversation of his employers. He's probably heard much odder things from them, and he doesn't seem to be a cat or a dog person either. More of a murder person. As soon as I follow him into the kitchen, he raises a hand to stop me.
9. I know you are a very skilled in architect, and I have seen your work, but this shall be my kitchen, and I shall fix it according to my wishes. Yeah?
Kind of weird. Anyone would think that pots and knives are supposed to go anywhere but the kitchen, huh?
I assume he's gotten them confused. It wouldn't be the first time.
You know, the murder knives as opposed to the kitchen knives.
Confused? How does that even work? I understand covers, carpets, or even curtains getting mixed up. Hey, I'd even understand pots being mixed up with silver decor. But knives?
Oh, he has a collection of ornamental ones from his father. It takes them everywhere he goes, wherever he moves.
I'm trying to figure out what he was going to say there. Starting with a V.
I guess that makes sense. A bit. Still odd.
He merely shrugs before going back to work. Alright, I think now, or yep. Is he jealous? So what did we do last time here? Ask if he's alright. This time, nope. You try to lighten the mood.
You're not gonna go out there and join Mrs. Wright?
That's right, Luke. Suck it.
You're starting to look strained. If you want your picture taken so badly, I'm sure the photographer would oblige.
What is it that you want to do then?
Films. Documentaries mostly, but cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
We need to get you away from the butler. You're starting to sound like him.
Yeah, he's pretty cool when you get to know him.
No, I'm not joining Hana for an interior design magazine photo. What am I? A piece of furniture? Look, did a lot of you have anything else crucial to do today? Marianne.
There are still some little things to do. It isn't the end of the day yet.
Yes, but you're paid hourly, aren't you? Per day? Really, I don't care. You and the others can just take off for the day.
Why is he dismissing us early, all of a sudden? This is about the possible security threat? Did my question get him all wary and paranoid that he would just send the workers and I away? I realize that threats are of an actual concern to these rich and powerful people. I imagine whether anyone wants to or not, they get a few enemies here and there. But I'm sure the foreman and his works can be trusted and are of no threat. Well, at least I trust the people I'm working with. I understand if he doesn't know them from a can of paint. Still, won't it be safer if there are people around who can watch their back?
You're the boss. My being paid by the day aside, I won't be held responsible for any significant delay caused by your decisions. I'll try to get around that, of course, but I'll just remind you of the fact.
Whatever, take forever with the house. I don't give a bloody damn. Don't you worry, you're still getting your money. Just sod off, go crawl around a pub and find yourself a good lay.
Wow. Paranoid or aggravated as he might be, this conversation certainly didn't have to warrant that sort of remark.
Maybe I will.
Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go while under his roof. Mrs. Wright and the photographer are still looking forward to... Yep, we've seen this. Okay. So we head out of the mansion, we go to a drink where we see
I take it the investigation isn't going well.
And this is where we're gonna meet Ash. Alright, let me take a quick look here. Yeah, you know what? We're getting close on time, but let's just finish this out. We're close, because otherwise it's gonna be like another, like, we finish it in 5 minutes next time.
When does it ever? But that's not the problem. No, it's...
Is this about that hit and run from yesterday's morning news? I saw it. I just didn't know if it was the same girl you're always groaning on about.
You know, the one you're in love with.
But this just proves it, doesn't it? You don't have a drink.
She might never wake up, G. And we can't find the son of a bitch that thought it was alright just to leave her there in the road.
Can't you just run plates nowadays? I mean, I just got a ticket for a busted tail light the other day, and they were on that quicker than you can say Bob's your uncle.
The footage is
You
a
can
mess
say that
for
pretty
some
quick.
reason. And the tech guys are trying to clean it up, which just skeeves me off, you know. Those things are HD traffic and security cams. They haven't failed before.
And you're thinking there's something foul afoot, is that it?
Definitely. The talk would have interested me, would have kept my attention, if I gave a damn. But in my current state, I can barely give 2 fucks about the things going on around me. All these words are just buzzing, barely surfacing from the sea of sounds that is the pub. It would have stayed that way, perhaps even drowned, if I didn't hear his name.
Luke Wright. You know the guy.
Yep, we've seen this.
How dare that sleazy wanker treat me like I'm a piece of furniture?
And by wanker, you mean Luke Wright.
Yes, Luke Wright. I just said that. Is Kultona Kranthe.
Excuse me?
Completely different from his pretty wife. And Annie? Hannah? Anna! I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing something dirty behind her back. Even bought him a mansion. Lucky bastard.
So it was the wife who bought the place.
Are you going to repeat everything I say? Yes, it was the pretty one. The one with the long hair. She bought the place. Sort of.
With how drunk you are, I don't even know if you're aware or sure of what you're saying.
Excuse you? I am at least 350,000% sure that I know what I am saying.
That's incredibly confident. I think this is something you can trust, Ash.
I am a professional. I'm totally sure of what I'm saying. Do you think just because I'm drunk I don't remember facts? I remember everything. I remember every little thing as if it only happened yesterday. I bet you don't remember young McGurn's full name.
I don't even know who that is, Marianne.
Of course you don't. Here we go.
Here we go.
John William, pure mad, mental inte, your body, Simpson Clay, Gimel Chip, the bomb, Rib Bracker, no real young rebel, your best saint, John McGurn.
That was fun.
See? I have a photographic memory. Or read memory. I don't remember which is which.
Back to the wanker. Nothing off about him or anything? Nothing shady that sets the alarm bells in your head?
No, he just sucks. Alarm bells, nothing ringing. Maybe someone's mobile is. Getting tired, enough for me to press my cheek against the cool countertop with my eyes shut tight. Eventually, cracking one eye open, just in case they thought I fell asleep. I grin at Holmes.
Aside from being a sleazy piece of shit, he did get all in a tizzy whenever something about security came up.
Makes sense. I don't blame the guy. Place that big, you'll need a couple dozen people stationed around if you want to make sure nobody you don't want gets in. And the guy seems like the type that doesn't like too many people.
Oh, but he does like the ladies. I don't think his mummy hugged him enough or anything.
These are serious questions, Marianne. Lives might just be at stake here.
What do you expect? She's smashed.
Yeah, I think it was, yep, so we got back to that. Ash gives us the card. We have one more little dream of that. And then we get to our last day here.
Perhaps it has been the years, perhaps not. It might just be the little things that have built up all this time.
So we're having the same conversation Hannah had with us, from Marianne's point of view.
But in any case, with things like these, I've seen couples take time apart just to cool off. Sometimes they get back together in the end with lighter hearts, and sometimes they don't get back together at all, but part on better terms.
What if I said the couple are very public figures? They wouldn't want to take time apart unless it was really necessary.
Oh, it's really necessary, Hannah.
They wouldn't want people to talk.
Well, that's a load of guff. Not to mention that makes them a bit thick, doesn't it? Forget about what other people say. That's their relationship, and they should do what's best for them.
Why she thinks a single woman like me would be the best source of relationship advice is beyond me. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my abilities. Without realizing it, I'm already pouring out a part of me that I thought was long gone. I'd like to believe my words will be of some help to Mrs. Wright. If I'm honest, though, they're of some help to me. Like some weight has been taken off my shoulders. Yep, okay. So finish up that conversation. We get back to the cellar where we want to go in.
I just lost something the last time I was down there. It's really important.
15 minutes. 9. 10 minutes. Any longer and I'll pull you out of there myself. The bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious vine without his permission.
Thank you. This seriously means a lot.
Steps aside begrudgingly. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. Alright. We're gonna do something real quick here, though. Save there, and then one there. Okay, just in case. The cellar greets me ominously as I descend. The space feels smaller, with a lot more bottles lining the wall compared to before, and knowing what might be waiting for me here makes things worse. I almost hope, in a morbid and twisted sense, that Lorraine would just be standing there waiting for me. It would be just like her to joke about inappropriate meeting in dark, secluded areas. But just like the broken bottles and wine that was spilled on the ground before, no trace of her can be found.
Lorraine! Where are you, Lorraine? I miss you, you know?
Yeah, so this time around, we didn't get any of that history. So that would, if this had been our first time around, that would have been kind of confusing. I mean, obviously we would have been able to pick up some pieces from context, but only silence replies. Funny that when you want to find something, that's the time when you can't. The thought that I wouldn't be able to see Lorraine one last time fills me with such despair. Sure, it was crazy to come here willingly in the first place, but all I'm really looking for is closure. And if I can't see her, the least I can do is offer her a prayer. On the verge of tears, I kneel in the middle of a dark, damp wine cellar, put my hands together in prayer.
May God grant her eternal rest and...
That is when her laughter fills the air. It rings along the walls until it echoes in my head. And like a siren song, it draws me in before it comes to a stop upon reaching a dead end.
Ooh, could it be an adventure then? A secret passage? There must be a hidden switch somewhere. Go look! This is the most interesting thing you've done by far.
A secret entrance, although the idea in and of itself is inane, only makes the entire endeavor even more perilous, but I need to find a way to open it. Already, I'm running my hands against the wall in order to find some sort of hidden switch. It didn't give when I tried to push it open before, and I doubt that would have changed anytime soon. But if there's a door, there's always a way to open it, hopefully without the need to break it down.
A shame I can't roll for perception checks in real life.
It's such a silly thing to say out loud, though there is no amusement on my face, and I do check, glancing at the mirror from the study.
Though a sanity check would be more fitting right now, wouldn't it?
I mean, how long have I been down here searching for the switch of a hidden door, in order to go find a dead girl, no less? It isn't only unreasonable, it's insane. At this point, they'll find me clawing at the walls, using my nails to try and see if there are any grooves or catches I might have missed. I'm surprised I haven't gone past the 10 minutes that was given to me, and that I'm not being hauled out of here. I don't want to bank on the chance that I have more time, although I know it's... Ugh, I really shouldn't let these kind of things bother me too much right now. If I don't continue looking, there's no point in me going down here. Dirt and rocks stick underneath my fingernails in my search, but there. A section of the wall, about the size of my palm, and just as well hidden as the hollow wall, is a switch, or a button, rather.
Face it, Tigress. You've just hit the jackpot.
The excitement I feel at the discovery finds me pressing it without a second thought. But when a click echoes in the cellar and the hidden door creaks open, I stop. What should I do? I mean, I don't see any reason why we would stay at this point. Let's go in! No time like the present, eh? I have to hurry, and I turn around when there's a crash. In my haste, I bump into the mirror, making it fall to the ground and shatter into 100 pieces. And shit, I hope that isn't an original piece. I don't think my insurance will be able to cover it. I could probably find an imitation to replace it, and... Interesting. So interesting that the mirror would break either way. I wonder if it would break if we had stayed. Okay. So, we found our way here. So, okay, and now yeah, because we used that door last time. The door slams shut behind me, and I nearly have a heart attack because of it. But when I see a much more visible lever on this side, I calm down and shake my head. On the other side is a passageway, an underground tunnel that has me mystified for a mere moment until I realize what it holds. Cells closed off by heavy iron bars line the sides. A general sense of death and decay lingers heavy, though the years should have taken away most, if not all, of the stench. Of the foul smell of humans and corpses alike being left to rot. The breeze, most likely coming from the other end of the passage that goes through, is to thank for that. If the place had been enclosed like a mausoleum, I imagine the odor would be fouler than it is now.
Dear Lord in St. Adelaide, bless these poor souls.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Though the architecture of their time was magnificent, human rights wasn't exactly a big thing back then. If the Ermengarde mansion had a place like this hidden away, who knows what sort of heinous acts were done down here. There's no time to dwell on it further, though. Not when... A ghastly thing, a corpse of a woman, leans on the wall. Her arms and limbs, almost every inch of her lithe body, is peppered with wounds and rotting flesh. And it is then that the putrid smell of blood and gore hits me, making it so that I don't even question how I missed it in the first place.
How long has this been here?
Quite a while, I think.
Oh, that smell. Oh, you're a nasty one, aren't you?
I wouldn't say that. I flinch as the thing twitches. And as soon as it opens its eyes and looks at me with a smile, there's nothing on my mind but horror. I break into a run. I try to keep on running, no matter how much my legs and feet scream at me to stop. I keep going, even when I look back and see nothing of her anymore, because I can still hear her. The scampering of her feet, the words she tries to form with her bloodied mouth, and the painful sounds of bones grinding against each other as she moves closer and closer to me.
How long are these damn tunnels?
There's a split second where I know that thing is right behind me, a strange sensation creeping over my limbs when her presence looms over me. And then, suddenly, I can't even do anything before I'm yanked by the hair and pulled back. Still, I struggle up until I'm thrown to the side like some rag doll. I hit the ground on my side, and the musty smell of old hay that reaches me is my only indication that I'm still alive. Now, this all sounds familiar. Is this? No. Okay.
Please don't hurt me.
My body hurts, and I keep my eyes shut tight, afraid of what might happen next.
What's wrong, Marianne? Are you really afraid of little old me?
There's a flash of hope. She can help me, save me from that thing. But as I see her smile, the same one that thing has, I know that this isn't Lorraine. I'm a fool to think so in the first place. It never could have been her to begin with. The real Lorraine is dead. She looms over me, backs me further into the cell that I was thrown in.
What are you?
Okay, so does it? No? Okay, so still. She turns to us and with that same gruesome grin, it takes a step forward towards the cell, towards me. I barely scramble to my knees when the door of the cell slams shut and it just stands there, staring. Shots for help ring out in the tunnels, but none of them are coming from me. I'm more paralyzed and shocked by what is happening. My throat tightens at being fooled by the image of Lorraine, at the thought of being trapped down here. So then where?
Help me! Help me! Oh, help me! Are you getting all this on camera, Carl?
Good one, Carl!
Are you guys sure this is a good idea? We're breaking and entering here. Don't worry, the owners of this place haven't been here in a long time. Look at this thing, though. It has writing in blood like some cheesy 80s horror prop. Wait, I have an idea.
And it's a genius idea.
Oh man, that's genius.
Oh man, that's the smartest thing I've ever seen!
What kind of butthead would even take this thing seriously? Maybe we can stick this in Rowan's backpack. That's where his kids would panic.
So yeah, Rowan is definitely Kylie's brother. Which means that this wasn't like a while ago. Like this must have been pretty recent.
Guys, what? Spit it out. Behind you!
There in the corner of the cell, a digital camera comes flickering to life and a video is played back on the screen. It was hard to even consider paying any attention to it when my life is on the line. But when the ghost doesn't move and the teenagers' mocking shouts of "help me" filled the cell, I just had to watch. What I had seen, students, judging by their Sankaretti uniforms, they were holding.
That letter.
And that thing, the woman, she... And that's interesting, because last time I skipped by that right after it happened. That she goes back to looking like Charlotte, but Charlotte and Takako are different people. Presumably. Alright, interesting. Alright, so we ended up basically getting the same ending, it seems, that we got last time with our friend Marianne. Which I was a little worried might happen, but it's fine. Ending 1 variant A, ending 1 variant B. Yep, okay. So, if we make the other choice, then that would presumably end in Marianne's death. And that is why I made that save there, so we could easily get back there later on. But for now, it was a new choice. I made the new choice. That's just what it is. So Marianne continues to be alive this time. I suppose that's good. But for now then, that is going to have to do it. We are going to have to start Becca's new B-Sides chapter next time. Until then, this has been Downstage Gaming. I've been your host, Josh, and I will catch you all next time.